Hey dude, what's up? Can you guys hear me okay? I checked the internet in this dressing room and it was really not great, but the upload seemed good. So hopefully that means you can hear me and see me and stuff like that. The download was like 2 megasecond or something like that, 2 megabytes. The upload was like 15, which is good enough for streaming for sure. So, anyways, wow, it's been a crazy 48 hours. I flew to the NAMM show uh, and flew back to England and played a show tonight in Bournemouth. So yeah, but let me see. I don't even know when I left. I played Edinburgh the other night up in Scotland. Next morning at 6:50 a.m. I got a flight, flew to LA, got into town about 2 p.m. and went and saw my kitties and stuff. And then we drove with Britt down to NAMM and got to the show and had some dinner that night, and then went all day Friday and managed to sleep 7 hours that first night, which was really awesome, surprising, and that was cool. And I got up. That was Thursday night. Went to the show all day Friday, and then I slept 8 hours Friday night, which was great. Show was great. I saw a whole bunch of friends, which was awesome. It was really terrific to see, all kinds of people. Dustin Boyer cracked me up, man. Jeff Coleman, and they were all hanging. Alex Garcia, that was really fun. That's probably the most fun I had all day. Was those guys at the Hilton? Just they were cracking me up. But I saw so many people, man. Andy Timmons, and just like made friends, new friends, and so yeah, it was just awesome. So really good time, and great times at the Sir booth, and so of course the whole Sir family and everything was so much fun. And yeah, I had a little bit of news this week, if you noticed. So it's pretty cool. I'm beyond honored. I feel like this chapter or whatever deserves a whole live stream on its own or something like that, where I can talk a little bit more and answer questions properly and stuff, not when I'm fried after a 24-hour travel day and playing a show. But I just really, I realized, oh man, you got to sign on and do something tonight because it's Sunday, and at least say hi to everybody and stuff like that, because I like to keep it consistent. I like to be here every Sunday and stuff. So if I can, and I was like, well, okay, I'll do 20 minutes or something like that and just say hello. That's it's not going to be much of a live stream tonight because I'm so fried. I got here at I slept on the plane. I flew at 6 p.m. yesterday. Got in at about 2 p.m. Is that right? No, earlier than that. 11:30 or 12 noon. Actually, I got in to Heathrow. So I slept on the plane. I got 6 hours or so on the plane. But it's not amazing sleep, obviously, on a plane. And then came straight here. Ran into some traffic, so the drive ended up being about 3 hours to Bournemouth from Heathrow. And I got here and jumped in the shower, took a shower, and finished up about 12 minutes before sound check. Did a sound check, went out for dinner, came back, did the show, 3-hour gig. So I'm just like, that's how you got me right now. It's my own doing. It was self-inflicted because I really, I had to go to NAMM, wanted to go to NAMM and stuff. But anyways, great time. I had a great time at the show and everything. It was good to get back to California for a minute, really, literally a minute. Nick says, congrats on the Satriani Vi gig. Yeah, I'm totally knocked out and honored. Like I say, I'll do a whole, maybe a whole stream about it and stuff like that. But what an honor, and Marco and Kenny as well, to play with them. And, those dudes are legends. So, and Joe and Steve, it's like, all I'll say is it's basically like a bucket list gig I didn't know I had, because it's like it doesn't even seem possible. It feels like some sort of weird, crazy dream that I would have had when I was a kid, where you're 14, you have this dream that hey, Joe Satriani called and was wondering if you want to play in a band with him and Steve Vai, and then you wake up and go to ninth grade math class. It's like, well, that's insane, and of course that would never happen, and here it is, it's actually happening. So it's surreal, but I'm beyond excited. So that's all I can say. Yeah, let's see here. Thanks for chatting with me during my live stream at the Sir booth. It was great to meet you in person. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get there, Aaron. Great to meet you too. And I wanted to get there to do all that kind of stuff and just be there and stuff because I had a new guitar out and really excited about it. And that's why I put the effort in to get there, meet folks like yourself, talk about the guitar and show it to you and stuff like that, and just do what we do. How's the UK treating you? Good, man. I'm having fun. Friends in Ireland been offline due to the big storm. Yeah, I know they had crazy bomb cyclone storm, right? So I know it was a little nutty. Let's see. Have you started learning songs? Long story short, yes. Yes. Let's see. Good seeing you at NAMM, says John. Glad the airlines behaved well enough to complete the Whirlwind. Without a hitch, actually. Like, the flights were great. Everybody was great. Really nice flights. So that was all good. Everything left on time, arrived on time. It was perfect. Couldn't ask for more. Hello. Just on the worldwide interwebs. What's up? Hi. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave pretty soon. Is that okay? Have I still got a few minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought if some empty, I might as well do them now while they're empty.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so no problem.
Totally makes sense. There's a fellow that's cleaning the rooms and stuff like that as we're getting out of here. We're in still at this old theater in Bournemouth. The Pavilion. Let's see. Did you bring one of your new guitars back with you? Well, I have one out here on the road. So there's a white guitar you may have caught me playing in photographs and stuff, and that's the new one. So let me tell you about the guitar just a little bit. I put this one in the thumbnail. So that's the candy apple red version. And if you'll notice, if you look closely, the pickup is unique in the bridge. It's a humbucker size based on a P90 style pickup. So it's called the PT90, new pickup that we did. We wound up a few, they already have a P90 style pickup, Sir does. So I asked Sykes, their pickup whiz there, to wind up a few different ones, different strengths and stuff like that. Similar to what they already had, but in a humbucker housing. And so he did 3 different kind of, sort of normal hot, hotter, and hotter than that. And I ended up liking the lowest output one the most, because my goal with the guitar was really to, solve the problem of the Strat style guitar bridge pickup, right? So on a 3 single coil guitar, the weak link is always the bridge pickup. I feel like, it's that the one that people roll the tone down on, and it always is a little edgy and all that stuff. Well, just because of the nature of this pickup, because of the fact that it's not angled, first of all, right? So like a P90, and a little bit further from the bridge, some of the pole pieces because of that stuff. It's fatter sounding right there just because of the placement. But it's also about 8K, something like that, this pickup. So it's got a nice, it's got nice output and stuff like that. But it balances with the V63 singles beautifully, like really nice. So I wanted the bridge pickup to be actually like the best sound on the guitar, as opposed to like the one that's sort of the compromise all the time on a Strat style guitar. And I don't see a lot of players with P90s and Strat style guitars, So I thought, why not? Let's try it. And I ended up just loving it, man. So I've been playing it on a lot of songs in our set out here on tour. I've got a translucent white. So there's 2 different options for body, wood, and finish. Because ash sort of soaks up paint and stuff like that. Looks really cool when you do a translucent color, but they talked me into doing an alder body on this one. So the red one is alder. The translucent white will be swamp ash. And that's what I've got out here, the swamp ash version. And so it features the new Sir tremolo as well. So it's new PT90 pickup, about an 8K, it still sounds like a single coil, but it's like a great big fat killer single coil. It's awesome sounding. Not too hot though. I tried a couple other ones, like I said, that were hotter, and they got too far away, I thought, for what I was going for on this guitar from, like, I already have humbucker models, right? And I wanted to round out the line and have a little bit more of a vintage flavor for guys that like true single coils, but maybe aren't crazy about Strat bridge pickup, wish it was cooler. So that was the goal here, was, I feel like we achieved that. Like, it's just got this killer bridge pickup sound, and then the other 2 are great, what you're used to for my guitars. So that was the goal, round out the line for people that like a little bit more traditional spec guitar, including myself sometimes. So the neck on this one is the same as on my other models, but it's a little bit more radius. So it's got a 9 to 12 compound radius on this model instead of a 10 to 14. I really like 9 to 12 for a little bit more vintage feel, you know, a little bit more radius, rounded radius. Yeah. Steven says you're awake. How? Rounding out kind of the features are new Sir Tremolo, which I just love, man. So I play "Cause We Ended as Lovers" by Jeff Beck out here on tour. And at the end, I did the thing where I dropped the low E string all the way down to C, you know, so it goes down pretty far. And I have to start another song right after that. There's no time. It just the count comes in and we go right into it. So I'm like, oh, I'm in tune. I'm always in tune. Bring the bar back up. So I can drop that bar all the way down to a C at least on the low E and come back in tune. That's what I'm saying. It's really great. So there's some special mojo going on with the bridge, the new Sir one. It's really good. So yeah. So that's a little bit about the new guitar, and I'm really excited about it. Joe says, congratulations on Sat 5 band. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. New guitar looks killer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where can we find info about your next show? Well, the next gig I'm doing is tomorrow night in Shrewsbury, UK. So come on out if you're in Shrewsbury. I hear it's going to be flooding because there's a lot of rain right now. Planning to play in London. Yes, we're playing Cadogan Hall, 2 gigs coming up on the weekend. So please come out if you can make it. That's this coming weekend. I think it's Thursday, Friday night. I think that's what we're doing. I think that's right. Not Friday, Saturday. I think it's Thursday, Friday this year. But anyway, coming up, Cadogan Hall, close to Sloane Square in London. Congratulations on the Viasatch gig. Thank you, man. I'm so stoked. I would still, pinch me. I still just kind of can't believe it's happening, but it is. So did you see anything at NAMM you were impressed with? Let me think about that. Dave's got his new amp that looks really neat, the Jose. That's a nice nod to Jose and his family and stuff, and that's really cool. Of course, the SL15 from Sir, really cool. I really like the Sir Thin Burst standards. Did you guys see those? Really cool looking. Like they just that finish on that guitar just really sets it off and makes it look fresh. So if you haven't seen that, look at the Sir website. It's called the Thin Burst. And they just look like cool hot rod, double humbucker, Floyd, guitars. That was neat. Third man, I love that new Jack White amp. It looks really neat. So that they had a booth there, and he's got a new pedal that looks really cool too. That was at the Third Man booth. That Young's new pedal looks really great. Sounds really great. So that was at NAMM. What else? That's what's coming to mind right now. I know I'm missing things. The new Marshalls look pretty cool. Kind of neat that they're doing a thing. JW says biggest gig ever. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's definitely like a there's a musically prestigious and like an honor to it. Or I'm not gonna phone it in, man. I mean, I got to give them my all, so they're gonna get 300%, whatever they need, Still remains to be seen what it'll end up being, when we play together and stuff like that. But I'm so happy about it, man. I mean, I'm just blown away, so honestly. So Nathaniel says, congratulations on the gig. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Really going to be fun. How much I enjoyed the rendition of Because We Ended as Lovers, says Ronster. You enjoyed it at Philharmonic Hall. Special for me because I was lucky enough to see Beck in 2018. Thank you. It means a lot. I love playing it. It was a little bit of convincing to get the guys to do it. And, Henry plays so beautifully, the keyboard player, and Wayne plays beautifully. And they both take some solos on it now. But Henry's fear was it was just going to be too jazz, for this show. And I'm like, dude, it's such a beautiful song that if we kill it, we have to kill it. We have to play great. We have to represent it well, but if we do that, it's going to go over, and it does. People seem to really love it. We get nice compliments on it every night. So, the beautiful thing about Jeff Beck is he really stretched everyone's idea of what rock guitar could be. I think You know, he was a guy that turned left when everybody thought he'd go right, kind of thing. He didn't care. He never cared. He just did great stuff. And he was a true artist that way, you know. And so in that spirit, you know, nobody doubts that Jeff Beck belongs in a classic rock show. I don't think, you know, he's one of the, you know, when we talk about the, you know, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, right, from that era, you know, and of course Hendrix almost stands alone as his own, but you know, the guys from the UK, you know what I mean, and Yardbirds and stuff, and born out of that, you know, and then because he did the you know the first Jeff Beck group album, right, that you know, Superstitious and stuff. It just all that stuff defined like he's a great rock guitar player, right? But then he just did whatever he wanted after that. He could go here, he could go there, and go left, go right, and sort of expand everyone's mind. But he was always Jeff Beck, and he's like it kind of like defies, you know what I mean? He's not in a box, so it's like so. Then of course you can play "Cause We Ended as Lovers" in a rock show. It's totally cool because it's a beautiful melody. It's yeah, it just works, you know. These are conversations we have in this show about like, you know, how much do you want to sort of lowest common denominator it? You have to a little bit. I mean, because that's fun, right? Party songs, good songs that people just like to have a good time to and stand up and sing, you know, and stuff. So there's got to be that in the show. It just has to be. But like, do we not do, you know, like how much muso stuff do you not do? And Jeff sort of, he just stands above all that. I don't know. As long as you play it well, you have to play it well and musically, and everybody has to be in the right headspace and stuff. One thing I don't like on "Cause We Ended as Lovers," when I see people do it sometimes, is like too much shredding. You know what I mean? Because the whole for you guys that don't know, a lot. I don't want to assume that you know who knows and who doesn't, but I mean, I didn't know for a long time that it was you know Stevie Wonder cover. Really, it was Stevie Wonder and his girlfriend at the time. You know, they made a record in like 1971 or 72 or 73, something like that. And the song "Cause We Ended as Lovers" was on it, and it was a song all about, it's a fascinating story actually. It was like they were breaking up, but they've still made this record together, and it's a song, but that's what the song's about, you know. And there's lyrics, you know. And so some of you might not realize that the original version is just gorgeous and beautiful with you know, this terrific singer singing on it, who was Stevie's girlfriend at the time. And she has such a, you know, that's where the tune came from. So then Jeff adapted it to be a guitar instrumental and did such a beautiful job of it. And it's such a gorgeous, haunting, kind of beautiful melody. So if you go back and you listen to the original and the sentiment, I feel like it helps to sort of, it's like, oh, okay. The approach to the song maybe is a bit more defined then or something. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be this thing whatever. Music's whatever people interpret it to be. But I feel like it's best soulful and sparse and fragile. Fragile is the word, you know? Well, like when Jeff played it at Ronnie Scott's, you know, it's fragile. It's like there's loud bits, quiet bits and stuff, but it's never like, you know, like shredding or whatever, you know. So that when I hear people do that on it, sometimes I'm not so crazy about that. I saw a great version of Steve Lukather the other day doing it. He gets a pass because he's friggin' Steve Lukather, and it sounded amazing, you know. It was like, and he was really burning on it, but he's Steve, so it works, you know. It's just incredible. But then other times I see people play it, and I'm like, it's just like hurts my feelings or something like that. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know where I went off on a tangent there. Let's grab some super chats here from you guys. Congrats on the new gig. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like Father John Misty. Great. Father John Misty, so cool. Voice and piano remind me of Elton John at times. My friend Joseph SF played percussion on a few shows. Man, I really like what I heard so far. You know, I'm new to it, but it's great. So thank you for the super chat. Langer, thanks for the super chat. You're too kind. Finally caught you live. Thanks for doing these. Man, it's my pleasure. I can't stay long because they want to clean out of here, and I think I got to go get on the bus. But I've actually got to go in a few minutes. But I will do, you know, another one at a more reasonable time, maybe during the week, or you know, because I know it's drag it that I'm on here at 3:30, and it's not the usual morning time for people in Europe and stuff. It's I'm in Europe. It's not really reasonable right now to be up this late, right? If you got to work tomorrow and stuff. So I get that you're fried and exhausted, but if you have one John Sykes story you could tell us, I'd sure appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you that he's such a sweet guy, man. He brings his amps into to Friedman's, and gets them worked on. And I'm in there a fair amount, and I'll be there, and he'll come in, and it's so nice. So one day, I met him in there, and it was really, really cool and stuff. And we rapped a little bit. And he was like, "Well, what do you do?" And I told him a little bit. And then so a little bit of time went by, like a few weeks. And then one day I was having a coffee. Oh, no, I was at Creation. I remember, it's a smoothie bowl place in where I live, and just eating breakfast or whatever. And the phone rang, and on caller ID it said John Sykes, and it's not like we had to exchange numbers or anything that day. But I picked up the phone. He goes, "Hey, Pete." And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Hey, how's it going, John?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I got your number from Dave Friedman." He goes, "I watched the video that you did for the Soldano amp plugin." So I made a video for the Neural DSP plugin. He said, "Man, I really like your playing, and I really like the song, the composition you came up with and stuff. And man, and he was so complimentary and sweet. And he'd called Dave just to get my number to call me and tell me that. And I was just so blown away, Such a nice guy that he took the time to just tell me that, and he watches YouTube and watches things. And it was so sweet and so cool. So that's one story. Like I was just knocked out that he would take the time to get my number and actually call me, and it's just so nice. It's one of the brilliant things about having got Dave and sort of being where because my studio is sort of adjacent there, and I've met so many of my heroes through I'm going to hand it to Dave and give him many thanks over the years, connections and stuff like that, just through proximity, just through being there. So another story that he told me is that he was still quite upset about Whitesnake. The situation and the way that it all went down, and he was just really, he was like, there was a bit of anger and stuff like that about the situation for sure in his voice, but also he just sounded heartbroken that he related to me that he never got to tour the 1987 album. He said it was really hard for him, to have made that record with Coverdale and stuff, and then the way that things went down, everything happened, whatever. But he never got to play those songs live. Imagine you come up with that record. It was a kind of it was a really iconic record that with a certain sound and everything. And it's, and it's just, I tell this story, by the way, in the show every night now, because we do a little tribute to John since he passed away. And I say, because there's a video on the screen, we do Here I Go Again. And the video on the screen, it's the official video from the song. And it's got Vandenberg and Vivian Campbell and stuff, all great guitar players, great musicians, Rudy Sarzo and stuff. But I do say, these guys are fantastic musicians, but they were the touring band. The sound of the record is other guys. And I go, the sound is really, to me, it's mostly Sykes and David Coverdale. That's the sound of that record. So I just trying to set the record straight and stuff, because it was a little foggy back then. I feel like so. Anyways, but anyway, he related to me one day in there that he was just really heartbroken that he never got to tour the record. So those are my two stories. How kind he was to give me a call, and then also just that he really wished that had gone down differently. Thank you so much. Congrats on the Satch Vi gig. Had some nice things to say. Satch Vi gig. Vi had some nice things to say about you in an interview. I wonder if it's a different one than I've seen. I'd love to see it. The Vi has been okay. I'll tell you a little story about Steve Vai. This is just, more human stuff. Steve Vai, when I'd met him once, he was really kind to me. Once again, in a similar sort of way, when you meet Steve Vai, if you've ever met him before, or if you do in the future, he will probably ask you about you and what you do. It's something that he just has a quality of making people feel valued, and that and that is genuine, and that he cares, and he wants to know, so what do? Do you play guitar? And you might meet him and then realize, like, at the end of the conversation, after you say, well, thank you so much, it's great to meet you, so you might walk away and go, I just talked about myself for the last 5 minutes, because he'll continue to ask you about stuff you're doing, and then riff off of that, with questions and things like that about what, and I believe he's genuinely interested in people, And that's a very special quality, a human quality, you know, that he has. He'll make you feel seen, special. You know, he really, it's pretty great. Like so I noticed that about him going way, way back from the first time I met him, that he has that quality. So he's, you know, he's a hell of a guy is what it is. But anyway, so what was my story? Oh yeah. So the second time I met him, Chris Cornell had just passed away. And the Malibu Guitar Festival was going on 2 days later. So Chris passed away on a Wednesday, and this was a Friday night, I believe. And there was a fella that worked for Steve back then that was an acquaintance of mine, and he hit me up and he said, maybe you want to get out of the house and come out to the Malibu Guitar Festival and see. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like I was like, you know, obviously really not in a great place. And he said, come on, man, just come out and, you know, Steve will be there and it'll be, and I thought, I should go see Steve Vai. That'd feel good, you know, to see him play. And so I went out and he was sitting in with the band that was playing there. And there were some other folks. I remember Gretchen Menn was there, who was, you know, a good friend of mine. She's a sweetheart. And so it was good to get out of the house. It felt really good to get out of the house. I can feel what it felt like right now, you know. And anyway, my friend that worked for Steve, mutual friend, he, after Steve had played, he grabbed me and he said, come over here and, you know, Steve wants to talk to you. And Steve was sitting in a little backstage area. And this was like a club. It was the Malibu Inn, I remember. Now, you know, Steve's a hero of mine, right? And, you know, grew up with, from the Attitude song to, that's about the time I became aware of him, around when Flexible came out. The Frank Zappa albums at the time that he was on. I think Ship Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch and stuff. I remember I had that when I was like 10. I think he was on that. But really the Attitude song was and then I bought Flexible. I have it on LP. Yeah, I think I brought it up before, but the flexi disc that came out in Guitar Player magazine. Of course, the Crossroads movie came out and that knocked me out. We were all trying to learn to play that solo and, you know, and then of course the Dave Lee Roth gig, right? And all that happened within a couple of years of, you know, 83, 84, 85, that time period. And it was just a massive, this is the point where guitar was becoming my thing. And so anyway, that just telling you, you know, he was, you know, big impact on me. I mean, big impact on me, on all of us, you know. And then I remember my first NAMM show going to in 1990, and I believe that was the year they released the was it the Universe guitar? But it was a 7-string model, and he was there at the Ibanez booth, and I was there. I remember I had to wear a suit because I was 19 years old or 20 years old, and I worked for a music store in Canada. It was just before I'd moved to LA, and they wanted me to wear a suit because we're representing the store, you know. And I was like, anything I got to do to go to the NAMM show, I don't care. I just wanted to go to my first NAMM show. And I got it. I remember that Steve was the, you know, I just remember the huge buzz around the 7-string guitar and everything. And so, you know, I'm just setting all of this up, you know, because it was just a big hero of mine. Passion and Warfare came out, everything. So, so anyway, I go walking over. I'm at the Malibu Inn. I go walking over, and my mutual friend, you know, has me sit down beside him. He's sitting at a circular table that's kind of like a booth, and it's noisy because there's, you know, more music going on, band playing and stuff. And I sit down. He goes, "Listen," and he starts talking to me in my ear, and he goes, "Listen, I know you just lost your friend Chris." And he said, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute and tell you, you know, that, you know, I get emotional about it because it's like, it was so kind. He said, I just want you to know that you know, you're upset now. And that's of course to be expected and normal, but there'll come a time where, you know, first of all, he said, you can still have a relationship with him, with your friend, you know, that, you know, it doesn't have to be all bad, you know, and that there'll come a time where you're going to think of him and it's going to be good memories, you know. And he said, you know, there'll come a time where you're going to feel like better about all this, and where it's, you know, it's not now, you know, you need to go through this mourning period, and it is what it is and stuff. But, and, you know, so this is 48 hours after that happened, right? And he's just talking to me, and I'm like, he doesn't know me from Adam, you know. And he took the time to, you know, he wanted to speak to me, and he knew, and he's like, give me a break, you know. It's like, he's a hero of mine. It's just crazy. Like, so he was so kind, you know, and it just meant so much to me, and I'll never ever forget it, you know, that he did that. I needed it, you know. I didn't know that I needed it, but it's what I needed that day. So beyond everything else, you know, there's that. And yeah, what do you say? You know, I mean, it's just like, are you kidding? Like, I'm going to give that guy, you know, 400% of my ability, 1,000%, you know, all the time, because that he's just a special dude, you know. And you guys know that. I mean, if you follow him and stuff, and if you're fans, I think you know that he's got a great, you know, just his soul is really special. So, and then over the years, you know, a few more times you know, we've connected and stuff and met over the years since then, because that was quite some time ago. That was 2017, right? So when Chris passed away. So anyways, making up for lost time. Thanks for, you know, entertaining that story, listening to my story about Steve and what impression he made on me. Anyway, great to see you on Sunday Live videos this week, says Peter. What's up, Peter? It's good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Videos this week. The Evertune system. I made a video for the Evertune bridge, so that'll be coming a little bit later this week. And it's a very simple video, but I think it really shows off the bridge, actually. So I got an Evertune guitar to my studio. It's been there for a long time. The nice fellow from Evertune has been so patient waiting for it. But it is a really, really neat system, and I think it shows off the capabilities of the bridge and just how in tune you can be with an Evertune. So that's coming this week. By the way, also just crazy views on that Rockman video. It's like my biggest video fastest moving video I've ever done is my Rockman video. I looked 7 hours after I put it out, and it was like 70,000 views. I was like, what is happening? And then now it's at like 188 or something like that. It just got in an algorithm or something, or people are just interested in the Rockman, or both, you know, and it's really blown up. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Excited for the Satch Vi gig, says Saxby. Thank you, man. Me too. I mean, beyond excited. Yeah. There's some folks telling stories about Steve. Met Vi when friends showed patented whammy bar to him. He said, yeah, I tried one of those before. I said to a friend, hope it was worth $25,000 to have him be so passive. But well, you know, I mean, the guy, when it comes to him seeing gear, I mean, you got to imagine, I know what that feels like. I get a lot of, you know, gear passing through my, you know, and it can start to get to be just a little overwhelming, you know? So I don't know, you know, if he's already happy with that's the other thing. If you're already happy with something like a bridge, like a tremolo or something, I feel that I'm like, I'm good in that department, you know? So I get a lot of people. There was a guy the other day, and I never found his booth, but he was at NAMM. He's like, you gotta come by and see this amp that I've got. I'm like, okay, I'll come by, you know? And he's like, you really have to come by and see it, because I designed it with you in mind. And I'm sort of, I totally respect it. And I'm like, I'm flattered that people say that. And then on the other hand, it's like, I have a line of signature amps. So it's like, I work with John on amps. So it's like, I feel like it's almost like, you know, people trying to ask you out on a date or something like that. You know what I mean? And you're like, I gotta, you know, this is my commitment over here. So it's a little strange, but in some regards, but yeah, it's it. But anyways, my knees hurt. What's up, man? He says, can't imagine how stoked Pete must be. Yeah, I'm blown away, you know. I'm just I'm still processing, to be honest. So yeah. Ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch. Yeah, Valley Girl. She's a Valley Girl. It was a great record. It was awesome. Yeah. Why is Stu Ham not more famous? Well, he's famous amongst musos, you know. I know who he is. I saw him the other day. He was at NAMM. He played the other night at a thing I went to, a jam. Greg Bissonette and Billy on bass. There was something special about that band. It was magic, you know, and it was kind of like Greg was really like he's a jazz guy, you know, so he killed it. I mean, he was perfect for the gig. And of course, Billy, it was really neat. I mean, it was kind of amazing, the record that they put together, you know, because it could have not been, you know, like, right? Like the chemistry doesn't always, you know what I mean? You think sometimes like things are going to be amazing, they're not, but that record it just worked. was really great. Love to see a music conversation between Steve Vai and Johnny Marr. That would be, yeah, I agree. I mean, both great, 100%. Love Johnny Marr. Was the first NAMM show the one where you became extremely sick? Yes. Yeah. So the first day I got there, I threw up in the Hilton in a back, hallway behind like a restaurant. I just had to. I tried to go to the show and I felt like I was gonna barf, and I had food poisoning. I went to the hockey game the night before, the LA Kings game, and I ate a hot dog. It was that. Yeah. And I was deathly ill for 24 hours. Couldn't even go to the show. I was like, this is horrible. I can't believe I'm all the way here and I can't go. And I went back to my room and I just spent the day in bed. Saturday, Sunday, I went to the show, all day. So the Friday I couldn't. Maybe it was like Thursday and then I went all day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just missed the Thursday or something. Got to sit in a chair right in front of Satch, Ingve, Sean Lane, Paul Gilbert rehearsal for the NAMM show. What an honor. That's so cool. Gilbert amazed me most. Satch's tone stole the room. Yeah, he's always got a great sound, 100%. Greetings from Switzerland, says Peter. Enjoy so much your gear reviews. Have you ever been put under pressure by manufacturers to hold back criticism or review your video? Well, sometimes they want to review my video, but I tell most people, like, look, you just sort of get what you get with me, And if I don't want to do it, I won't do it. But if I can get a good sound out of your product, I'll do it. And then I'll make the video and put it up and it'll be good, I promise, And most people seem okay with that these days. So it never gets that awkward, to be honest. No one more deserving of this gig than you. Thanks, T-Top. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Thank you for what you do. Same with me with Vi Crossroads, Flexible Era. Yeah, we're probably, a similar age. Then on guitar became serious and so exciting. There was a great program called Equinox, which made it an obsession. I don't remember that, but yeah, man. Yeah, I was super stoked on guitar at that point. Marco Mendoza on bass. I think Kenny Aronoff on drums. That's right. That's the band. I got to hang with Marco a bit at NAMM. That was really nice. We had some good talks and stuff. And, he's got such a great reputation. I've never played with him, but everybody just says he's the sweetest dude. Of course, he's a monster bass player, great singer. So I videoed the David Lee Roth band on YouTube playing in Detroit. I was surprised with how many. Hi. Yeah, that's okay. I was surprised with how many Van Halen songs they played. Yeah, I mean, I think Dave knew he had to do some of the hits or whatever, right? But yeah, man. This was a strange time to do this, I know, but I should probably split you guys because I know they want to get in here and clean out these rooms and stuff. I just had to sign on a little bit and say, hey, and, talk about the gig a little bit and stuff like that because I know it's a really big thing for me. Huge. Maybe I'll try and, make sure that I've got a little more time next week and stuff to discuss if anybody's got any more specific questions, but they sure want to clean that room. Well, it's late. It's late. It's like, what time is it right now? It's 12:15 in the morning here. So people want to go home. So yeah, I should get out of here. Just be nice to the staff and stuff like that. But this was great. I'm glad, we went 40 minutes, so that's not bad. I'm glad some of you were able to show and stuff like that and be here. And so thank you, Ben Coons, Stealth Parrot, Peter Evans, and Andy and Ebars. A bunch of you guys are here. It's awesome. So be sure to check out Ben's show. I'm sure it's probably starting soon. And if not now, am I infringing on your time, Ben? I might be. Have you ever tried a George Alessandro modded Marshall? I have not, actually, but I know the name. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna split, but thanks for listening to my stories. I'm actually glad that was kind of off the cuff there, but I'm glad I was able to tell that story about Steve and stuff because he's such a sweet guy. He made such a huge impression on me. And now I get to work with him. I'll just add that the last thing I'll say is that my goal is actually to learn as much as I can. I just want to stand there. I want to be of service, musical service, do whatever those guys need me to do. Add how I can add, and just soak it up, because these guys are legends and it's a dream come true. I guess you find yourself you know, if you stick around, I've always told myself, I mean, if you stick around long enough, you know, you'll find yourself in the room eventually, you know. But this is like on another level. So, you know, and I am knocked out. I'm honored. And you know, more to come on it. I'll tell you more about how it all came together and stuff like that. But you know, I'm knocked out. I'm honored. I'm humbled, and I'm really excited. And I'm gonna give him my all, 3,000,000%. Just make sure I'm not missing any super chats there. I don't think I am. I think we're all good. So okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in at this weird time and stuff like that. And I'll try and next week, I mean, probably got a show the same, you know, but I'll put up a watch page earlier and stuff because now I'm out here. I'm not at NAMM, I'm not frazzled and all that. So it'll be more at least knowing the time that I'm going to go live and stuff like that. Hopefully some of you can tune in. All right, guys. Hey, care about you all. Thank you so much. It's great to see you here. Thanks always for being here. And have a great week. Take care. Over now.